Billionaire's heartwarming discovery after triplets were kicked out. An unexpected truth revealed. The elementary school stood like a sentinel of memories, its brick facade worn but familiar. Alex Harper stood at the entrance, a stark contrast to the faded welcome banner fluttering in the wind. To think he had once been a scrawny kid roaming these halls, now effortlessly wealthy. He felt both a pang of nostalgia and an overwhelming discomfort. This charity event was meant to bridge his past with his present, but as he stepped inside, he was hit with an emotional wave that left him breathless. The sweet, playful laughter of children echoed through the corridor's remnants of a simpler time, but the scent of neglect hung in the air like a dark cloud. Dirt-streaked walls, peeling paint, and fading murals told a story far different from the glimmering success he now embodied. He made his way toward the gym, where the charity event was set up, but his heart sank as he noticed the barely half-full seats. The community had been neglected for far too long. Just as he was about to distract himself with small talk, a scene caught his eye. 3 spunky triplets, all wide-eyed energy and boundless giggles, were being led away by a teacher. An image froze in his mind. Their mother, a nurse who worked multiple shifts, hustling to provide for them. But here they were, smiling yet frozen in uncertainty. He leaned closer, catching snippets of the conversation. Unpaid fees can't be in school anymore policy. Each word hit him like a punch to the gut. Seeing the triplets' faces fall sent shockwaves through him. He thought of his own childhood struggles, the sleepless nights, and all the people who had lent a hand when he needed it most. No, this can't be happening. Unbidden, the thought emerged. What if he intervened? He couldn't just walk away. The knot in his stomach tightened as his instincts screamed for him to help. The event carried on, but his mind was elsewhere. He approached the mother, Rebecca. Her weary eyes reflected a lifetime of hard work and battles lost. Every small kindness she had hoped for seemed dampened by reality. Alex could feel resentment slowly brewing in the corners of the community. Why would a billionaire care? Why now? But he couldn't just swoop in and fix it. Was that another case of throwing money at a problem without forging real connections? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into weeks, and with every visit to the triplets, Alex found himself deeper entangled in their lives. He watched their mother juggle bills and time, her hands constantly busy, but her spirit never broke. He learned about their neighborhood gatherings and soccer games, where laughter flowed as freely as the tension of economic struggles hung over them like a shadow. The more he witnessed, the more he felt their pulse. But the more he tried to help, the more resentment stirred beneath the surface. Could money solve this? As he contemplated a donation that could change the triplets' lives, the question burned in his heart. Was he truly helping, or just putting a band-aid on a festering wound? The triplets' laughter still echoed in his ears, but the stark fear behind their mother's gaze haunted him. Standing at the intersection of wealth and compassion, Alex faced a growing storm. Tensions rose within him and the community, his identity as a billionaire clashing with the desires of a man who just wanted to connect. When whispers of the triplets' past began to surface, he realized that he had only scratched the surface of their story. In that moment, the question loomed larger than ever. Could love, belonging, and shared humanity truly transcend financial disparities? With emotions tightening like a noose, Alex braced for the journey ahead, aware that his next choice would shape their lives forever. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the playground where the triplets played. Alex watched from a distance, feeling an ache deep in his chest. They were so full of life, running and laughing, blissfully unaware of the weight that hung over their heads. Beneath the carefree facade, he knew lay a brutal reality: unpaid bills, an uncertain future, and the fear of being uprooted from everything they knew. He had seen their mother, Rebecca, time and again. Her tired eyes filled with a mix of hope and desperation. Each time he stepped into their humble home, the same familiar sight greeted him. A cramped space filled with makeshift furniture and a lingering scent of whatever meal had been quickly whipped up. She welcomed him always with a warm smile, but it was strained, like a mask covering profound worry. Deciding to take a more direct approach, Alex mustered the courage to sit down with Rebecca one evening. He offered her an opportunity financial support for the triplets' education, but with a catch. He wanted to work together to create a program that could help not just those three, but other children in their situation too. "Let me help you, and let us build something that lasts," he proposed, his voice firm but compassionate. Rebecca's reaction was layered. He could see her torn between gratitude and skepticism. "You would really do that?" she asked, tears welling in her eyes as she searched his face for any sign of insincerity. "Why now? Why us?" The question hit him hard. Why? The truth was, he didn't entirely know. Maybe it was the nostalgia that washed over him when he entered the school, or the urgency he felt witnessing their struggle. But there was also something deeper, an inherent need to belong, to reconnect with the community he had once known so well. "I have been where you are, Rebecca. I don't just want to throw money at this. I want to create something more." His sincerity hung in the air, heavy with possibility. After a moment of silence, she nodded slowly. The flicker of hope filled the room, but Alex felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He wasn't just offering money. He was offering a part of himself, a commitment to change lives. Yet, could he do it effectively without overstepping? Had he become so entrenched in wealth that he'd forgotten how to truly connect with those in need? In the following weeks, they met often. Alex began to learn the intricate needs of the community, not just through Rebecca but by engaging other families. After a community meeting, where half the residents had shown up despite their struggles, he realized something essential. Every heart was beating with a shared rhythm of resilience. But they were also wary of outsiders, having seen countless initiatives that promised change only to leave them disappointed. Determined to win their trust, Alex sought out ways to contribute that felt authentic. With every passing day, he felt the warmth of their laughter drawing him closer, yet the doubt remained. Could he ever truly understand their experiences or simply be seen as a billionaire playing savior? One evening, as he sat on the front porch of Rebecca's home, watching the sun slowly set, he turned to her. "I need to ask you something important. What do you want for your children? Really want?" The sincerity of his question hung in the air like the cool evening breeze. Just then, as Rebecca prepared to answer, a commotion broke out in the distance. Alex's heart raced. There, standing on the sidewalk, were two unfamiliar figures, their expressions unreadable as they approached the house. The unease in the pit of Alex's stomach deepened. He sensed they weren't just passing through. He exchanged a glance with Rebecca, and in her eyes, he found a mirror of his own apprehensions. This moment could change everything, but how, he couldn't begin to decipher. Would those figures bring more trouble into their already complicated lives? The truth was still waiting to be revealed, and as uncertainty loomed, Alex felt the stakes rising. Would they be able to navigate this challenge together, or would the fragile connection they had forged shatter under the pressure? Unpredictable tides were drawing closer, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that either a new opportunity or a profound setback was just around the corner. What awaited them in the shadow of uncertainty? The figures drew nearer, each step echoing the tension in the air. One was tall and imposing, with sharp features framed by a dark hoodie, while the other was shorter, wearing a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. Alex squinted, trying to catch a glimpse of their expressions, but the light was fading fast. "Who are they?" he whispered to Rebecca, echoing the uncertainty that knotted in his stomach. "I don't know," she replied, her voice barely above a murmur. Her hand tightened on the railing, knuckles white. As the strangers reached the edge of the porch light, Alex felt the weight of their presence push against all the hopes he had begun to weave for this community. The triplets' laughter had faded, replaced by a cautious silence. Alex could sense the children peering through the window, eyes wide with confusion. "Is this Rebecca Williams' house?" the taller man asked, his voice deep and commanding. Rebecca nodded, apprehension painting her features. "Yes, that's me. Can I help you?" The taller man took a step forward. "We're here about the kids." Immediately, a flare of protectiveness surged within Alex. "What do you want with them?" he interrupted, the tension bubbling to the surface. The man turned his gaze to Alex, assessing him. "We just want to talk. It's about their schooling." Alex exchanged a glance with Rebecca, whose expression was a mixture of fear and confusion. "What do you mean? Are they in trouble?" "No trouble," the shorter one spoke up, his words spilling out fast. "We're from the school district. There's been an issue with funding. We're trying to figure out what's best for the children." Rebecca's face fell, tension draining from her shoulders, but replaced with a new wave of worry. "What kind of issue?" the taller man sighed. "With the recent budget cuts, we're having to make tough decisions. Some programs might be cut entirely. We need to discuss other options." Panic crept into Alex's heart. He had aimed to build something better, not watch it crumble before it had even begun. "What does that mean for the triplets?" he pressed, desperation creeping into his words. The man shifted uneasily. "It means they might not have access to the resources we discussed. If they don't secure scholarships or alternative funding, it could impact their education." Rebecca's face paled, eyes filled with an unguarded mixture of fear for her children. "But they can't lose this chance, not after everything." Alex's mind raced. What had he gotten himself into? He had thought he was offering hope, but it seemed like the walls were closing in, threatening to smother the light he'd ignited in their lives. "We can help," Alex blurted out before he had time to think. "Maybe there are community fundraisers or grants we can tap into. We can rally families together." The taller man raised an eyebrow, suddenly intrigued. "You're willing to help? You're ready to navigate through this with us?" Alex nodded, determination flooding his veins. "I'm all in. I need to understand this community deeply, and if that means fighting for these kids, then I'll do whatever it takes." Rebecca's eyes softened as she glanced at him, a flicker of hope igniting in the dim porch light. But even as they spoke about solutions, a deep fear gnawed at Alex's heart. If he had to fight for the triplets' future, what would happen to them if he didn't win? The reality of failure hung heavy. As the conversation shifted towards possible ways to secure funding, Alex felt time slipping away. Each second beat louder in his ears, reminding him that they were racing against uncertainty. They were on the brink of something massive, but what if it all fell apart? The evening deepened around them, the cool air thick with unspoken fears and uncharted possibilities. And as the last light faded from the sky, one question lingered in his mind. Could Alex truly be the hero he envisioned himself as? Or was he merely an imposter trying to play a part in a life that wasn't his? And then, just as he resolved to fight for the children, a sound disrupted the meeting, a loud crash from the street, shattering the fragile atmosphere. Instinct kicked in, as Alex turned sharply to the door, his heart pounding with dread at what he might find. Alex flung open the door, adrenaline surging through his veins. The dim glow from the porch light illuminated the street ahead, a scene that made his heart drop. A car had skidded to a halt, and nearby, a group of neighborhood kids had gathered, a mix of excitement and confusion on their faces. His eyes fixed on the twisted metal of a battered trash can rolled into the street, its contents strewn about like discarded dreams. "Everyone okay?" he shouted down the steps, worry lacing his words. The shadows in the street shifted as one of the kids, a boy named Oliver, who often played basketball with the triplets, shouted back, a blend of thrill and panic in his voice. "It's fine. Just some kid showing off." "Get back," Alex called, scanning for potential danger. "Don't get too close." Rebecca joined him at the door, her apprehension obvious. "What's happening? Should we call somebody?" Alex took a step out into the cool night air. The sound of laughter echoed from the group, blending into the chaos. He churned his thoughts, focused on the group of children. As much as he wanted to protect them, he knew they needed to feel safe, to feel like a community even in moments like this. "I think they're okay." He turned to the two school officials, still standing at the edge of the porch. The tall man maintained his composure, while the shorter one laughed nervously, his response not matching the serious nature of their earlier conversation. But it was too late for hesitation. "We can't just stand here. Let us go check," Alex said, motioning for Rebecca to stay on the porch. His instincts pushed him forward. As he navigated through the crowd of excited children, he felt the energy shift. The atmosphere transformed from anxiety to exhilaration, a reminder of the innocence he fought for. He knelt next to a girl with bright pink sneakers. She was collecting cupcake wrappers. "Was everyone safe?" he asked. "Yep," she replied, her face lighting up. "We were just watching this guy drift." Alex felt his heart lighten a bit. As he watched the children gather around the commotion, he realized how fragile their joy was and how crucial it was to protect it. Rebecca stepped off the porch, her voice cutting through the laughter and the roars of a new engine revving in the distance. "What are they doing?" The taller man watched too, his eyes narrowing as he straightened, appearing less like the authority figure and more invested in the scene before them. "It reminds me of my childhood." The moment tugged at Alex's heart. These kids, these opportunities, they deserved everything. He felt the weight of his voice rising again as he faced the officials. "We need community events. Get parents involved. Let's harness this energy, use it for the kids." "Kids are resilient," spoke the shorter man quietly, nodding. "But it's the adults that need to step up." Alex felt it deeply. "That's exactly what we will do." Just as he began to diagram ideas in his mind, a loud crash resonated again. The same sound he had heard before, echoing off the street. All eyes turned toward an approaching figure, a girl on a skateboard, barreling toward the group, clearly out of control. Alex felt his heart hit his throat as he realized she might crash right into the chaos of children laughing with reckless excitement. "Look out!" he shouted, panic bursting from his lips as he lunged forward. The crowd erupted into screams, and for a split second, time froze. The tall man reacted swiftly, dashing forward too. Would they reach her in time? Would the evening joy turn into tragedy? As Alex raced toward the girl, a thought flickered: what would it cost to ensure everyone's safety when everything felt so precarious? And as he reached out, desperate to avert disaster, the question burned in his mind. Could he truly turn this chaos into a teachable moment for the triplets and their friends? Would crying children become the catalyst for community love? But was everyone really safe? As he dove toward the skater, the world faded around them. Alex's mind raced as he lunged toward the skateboarder, his heart pounding like a drum. Time stretched, and the world around him blurred into a chaotic montage of laughter, screams, and the metallic tang of adrenaline. He reached out, arms extended, just as the girl lost her balance. Her skateboard wobbled beneath her, and with a deafening crack, it snapped against the ground. In that split second, when bodies collided, everything erupted into chaos. He felt the impact as he grabbed her, pulling her away from the edge of the crowd. They landed in a heap on the pavement. The skater's initial scream was swallowed by silence, her eyes wide with shock as she blinked up at Alex. For a heartbeat, the world fell away, leaving just the two of them tangled in the remains of their hurried moments. "Are you okay?" he asked breathlessly, helping her back to her feet. She was frazzled, her hair tousled and her cheeks flushed. For a moment, her fear transformed into surprise, then rolled into relief when she realized she hadn't been injured. Yeah, I think so," she stammered, wobbling on her feet. Behind them, the crowd of children gasped, then slowly transformed the initial terror into murmurs of awe. Oliver broke through with bright eyes, now more concerned than before. "That was epic. You totally saved her." In that moment, Alex felt a stir of pride but also the weight of responsibility become heavier. The same energy that fueled excitement could lead to danger. "Kids," he called, regaining his authority as he turned to the throng of young faces. "This isn't a game. We need to be more careful." A few nods came from the group, but the thrill of the skateboarding mishap lingered, swirling like a colorful tornado around them. "Let us get everyone back." Rebecca's urging voice pulled him back to the present. She stepped into the commotion, easing tension with her calm demeanor. How about we make a plan? Safety first? The tall school official murmured in agreement, his expression serious now as he began outlining a strategy. We should organize a skateboarding event next week. Create a safe space for them to enjoy while learning to stay safe. Yes. Alex enthused, catching on. We could set up obstacle courses, teach them about safety gear, even have the skateboarder show a demo. Turn this excitement into an opportunity. Rebecca smiled, exchanging a glance of mutual understanding with Alex, her eyes shining with hope. Can we get snacks? One of the younger kids piped up, relief washing over their faces as they shifted back to the lightness of the evening. Yes, let us have snacks. Alex replied, laughter escaping him, breaking the tension. Moments like these mattered. Moments where dreams collided with reality and laughter punctuated the AIR. As the group buzzed with new ideas, the girl who had fallen approached Alex, eyes lit with gratitude. Thanks for saving me. That was kind of heroic. He chuckled, scratching the back of his head. I wouldn't call it heroic, I just didn't want a disaster tonight. No, really. It was cool. Amia, by the way. Alex, glad you're okay. But even as they chatted, a deeper question settled in the back of Alex's mind. What did it mean to be a hero every day? Would investing time in this community lead to true transformation in their lives? The evening's aura shifted, taking Alex with it. He felt a sense of connection start to build not just with the community but with the unknown possibilities ahead. They were all in this together, riding the waves of ups and downs, and then, from the corner of his eye, he spotted a flicker, a dark figure lingering in the shadows, watching. The fleeting gaze twisted the moment. The warmth faded slightly, overshadowed by an unsettling thought. Who was that, and why were they here? Would this night continue to unfold as a moment of bonding, or would it sink deeper into uncertainty? As curiosity swirled in his heart, Alex realized the real adventure was just beginning. The laughter of the children bubbled up around them like a warm blanket, yet Alex couldn't shake the feeling of unease growing in his chest. He couldn't stop looking toward the shadow. It was there, just lurking at the edge of the park's glow. His mind raced, piecing together fragments of a narrative he didn't yet understand. Alex, you okay? Mia's voice broke through his thoughts, drawing his attention back to her bright smile. He nodded, forcing layers of worry down. Yeah, just something caught my eye. Like what? She pressed, her curiosity glowing as brightly as the dusk sun. Nothing major. Just thought I saw someone watching us. He tried to sound casual, but Mia's puzzled look told him he hadn't succeeded. Should we check it out? Oliver joined in, bouncing on his feet, the thrill from earlier still alive in his veins. The notion of adventure seemed to excite him more than the risk of danger. Alex hesitated. Was it worth it? Should he dismiss the shadow as just an overactive imagination or confront the mystery that prickled at him? A part of him felt responsible for the kids, and he didn't want to dampen their spirits. Yet he felt a tingle like a warning, urging him to be proactive. All right, let us take a little peek, he decided, his voice steadier than he felt. But stay close. We'll keep it light. The children eagerly formed a small band around him, buzzing with anticipation. They walked toward the edge of the park, the laughter behind them turning softer. As they approached the shadows, the dark figure shifted, melded with the gathering dusk. Who's there? Alex called out, trying to sound brave despite his heart thumping wildly. A moment passed in tense silence before the figure stepped forward, revealing a tall man dressed in an oversized hoodie, his face half hidden by the brim of a worn cap. Whoa! Mia exclaimed, taking a half-step back, her eyes wide with surprise. Easy there, I'm not here to cause trouble. His voice was calm but held an edge of weariness. I just wanted to watch. It's been a long time since I felt this kind of energy. Alex studied the stranger, noticing the weariness etched on his face. Who are you? He asked, a mix of caution and curiosity dancing in his tone. Just someone looking for a little joy, the man replied. There was something in his eyes, a deep longing, an echo of past sorrows. I used to skate, but life took me down different paths. Can you join us? Oliver asked, eager and unabashed. We're planning an event next week. Maybe you can show us some cool tricks. The man's eyes brightened for a split second before clouds of doubt returned. I don't think He hesitated, seemingly overwhelmed by the offer, the children's hope visibly tugging at him. Why not? Mia added, her cheerful spirit igniting the air again. We could all have fun, and you can help us learn. A flicker of a smile crossed the stranger's lips. You really want me around? Brimming confidence surged through Alex. Absolutely. We're all about welcoming new faces. But in the back of his mind, he questioned whether this newcomer could really fit in. Could he handle the chaos of so many eager kids? What's your name? Alex felt the tension easing ever so slightly, drawing the man into their circle. Ethan, the man replied quietly, lifting his head. Suddenly, laughter erupted from their group as they invited Ethan into their midst. The weight of unease they all felt beginning to lift. It was then, amidst their newfound friendship forming before him, that Alex noticed a flicker of relief flash in Ethan's eyes. Maybe, just maybe, something good would come of this. As they turned back toward the park, Alex felt excitement ripple through him, but shadows still danced in the corners of his mind. Who exactly was Ethan, really? What had pushed him into the shadows? With each step they took back into the park's glow, Alex felt the lines between heroism and vulnerability blur even further. What awaited them in building this community could change everything. But at what cost? The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the vibrant colors of the park. As laughter returned, the sound wrapped around Alex like an embrace. But questions lingered in his mind. Ethan walked alongside them, an almost ghostly presence. Yet there was something undeniably magnetic about him. The kids, though, didn't notice the unease that clung to Alex. They were enveloped in their own excitement. All right, what's the first thing we should do? Oliver exclaimed, bouncing eagerly on the balls of his feet. Maybe we start by gathering everyone, Ethan suggested, his voice tempered with a hint of caution. You guys must know a lot of skaters, right? Definitely, Mia chirped, taking the lead as she clapped her hands, her enthusiasm infectious. Let us spread the word. We have a big event coming. As the group started moving, Alex hung back, stealing sidelong glances at Ethan. He was a man layered in mystery. What had led him to this moment? Why was he so hesitant to embrace the joy that surrounded him? Alex couldn't shake the feeling that Ethan's past bore a weight heavier than he let on in a few minutes. They reached the open area where the occasional skateboarder practiced tricks. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the scene. Alex felt the pulse of excitement as he observed the growing group of kids rallying around Ethan. They began sharing stories and ideas, their laughter rising again like a tide. Hey, can you teach us some moves? Oliver asked, barely able to contain himself. Ethan hesitated, and Alex noticed. The light in his eyes dulled slightly, as if he had retreated back into himself for a moment. I haven't skated in a long time. I'm not sure I'm the right guy for that, he replied, almost inaudibly. But you love it. Didn't you say it used to make you happy? Mia remarked, tilting her head, trying to coax him out of his shell. I used to, Ethan began. But then he let out a deep breath, his features softening. Life has a way of making you forget what you once loved. Alex felt it, this longing within the man. His heart beat faster, wanting to push back against the weight of Ethan's sadness. Maybe it's not too late to rediscover that joy. Just like we're building this event, you could build your love for skating again with us, he said, his voice steady. The smile that broke on Ethan's face felt fragile, like a new flower pushing through hardened soil. Gradually, the kids roped Ethan into their schemes, drawing him from the shadows. Oliver darted off to round up more friends, and Mia offered Ethan a skateboard, her gaze fierce with determination. He took it, letting his fingers graze over the board's surface, the texture sparking a flicker of nostalgia deep within. I haven't done this in so long, he murmured, looking down as memories surfaced. Then come on, let us see what you've got. Oliver's voice rang out again, unwavering with that encouragement. Ethan stepped onto the board. He wobbled slightly but found his balance. A few tentative pushes sent him gliding awkwardly, laughter bubbling from his lips as the kids cheered him on. Alex could hardly believe what he was seeing. The man who had stepped from the shadows began rediscovering pieces of himself, exposing a joy buried beneath layers of time and emotion. Yet even as his heart swelled with hope, a question nagged at him. Would this newfound friendship lead Ethan to a brighter path, or would old shadows pull him back? Ethan, Mia shouted, her voice cutting through the growing twilight. You really are awesome. Something in Ethan shifted. He caught Alex's gaze, and for a brief moment, his eyes glimmered with the spark of possibility. Was this just the beginning of healing, or the calm before a storm? As their laughter echoed into the fading day, Alex felt the weight of uncertainty cling to him. Together with the children, he moved closer, but the battle within Ethan's heart lingered just beneath the surface. What would happen when the light faded and the truth emerged once more? Ethan found his rhythm, swaying on the skateboard as the children rallied around him, laughter and shouts filling the park. The evening sky turned into a canvas of pink and orange, which seemed to ignite something deep within him. It was as if, for the first time in years, the heaviness that weighed him down began to lift, replaced by the bubbling joy of childhood innocence. Look, look, Mia squealed as Ethan managed a small kick turn. You can still do it. Yeah, that was awesome, Oliver echoed, practically bursting with excitement. Each squeal of delight from the children made Alex's heart swell with hope, yet it was a double-edged sword. Part of him feared that this fleeting joy could vanish as quickly as it had appeared that as darkness drew nearer. The reality was difficult to ignore. Kids began pulling out snacks and gathered on the grass. Laughter turned into chatter, weaving through the cool air. It was here, surrounded by the thrill of simple joy, that Alex saw a glimpse of the man Ethan could be. He felt a sudden surge of determination to break through whatever barrier kept Ethan from fully engaging with this moment. Hey Ethan, Alex called out, stepping closer. What if we organized a little mini competition? You know, tricks and prizes? It could be a great way to kick off this event. Ethan paused, looking thoughtful. His expression wavered between a hopeful glint and a shadowed uncertainty. I don't know. What if I mess up? You won, T. Mia blurted, eyes sparkling. You're doing great right now. Plus, we'll all be there, cheering for you. But honestly, Alex interjected, his voice steady but gentle, it's not about winning or losing. It's about having fun and being part of something again. We're with you. For a long moment, Ethan was silent. The children's excited voices faded into the background as he processed their words. Alex saw him wrestle with doubts, the internal struggle playing out on his face. Finally, a hint of a smile appeared. It was tentative, but it felt genuine. All right, let us do it. But only if you all help me practice a little, Ethan replied, a small laugh escaping him. Yes, we're on it, Oliver shouted, jumping up and down as the night deepened. Excitement crackled in the air. They moved to a new area of the park, setting up makeshift lights from lanterns and string lights borrowed from the kids' homes. The atmosphere transformed into a festival. The skaters showcased their talents, and laughter echoed against the night's embrace. The fear that had loomed over Ethan began to fade, lost in the infectious atmosphere of support and camaraderie. Yet, amidst the joy, Alex noticed little moments when Ethan drifted back into his own thoughts. Sometimes he would glance away, eyes distant as if remembering something painful. Each time, Alex's heart sank a little further, wondering when or if the shadows would come breathing back. Suddenly, a commotion sparked as one of the younger kids attempted a trick but lost control, tumbling to the ground. The laughter turned to gasps of concern. Ethan rushed over, an instinctual move that revealed a softness beneath the tough exterior he seemed to embody. He knelt down to check on the kid, softly encouraging them as they bounced back up with a grin. In that moment, Alex realized this was more than just an event. This was a healing space for them all. Through the laughter, the skills, and even the falls, there was a way forward. But as the night wore on, The question remained what hidden scars would surface when the spotlight flickered off. That thought lingered in Alex's mind. Could Ethan truly leave behind the pain of his past? Or would the night's joy merely be a fleeting memory, overshadowed by deeper, darker truths? As the moon rose high, bathing everything in silver light, Alex felt a chill creep up his spine. Change was coming, and he could sense that the real test was yet to come. Somewhere in the shadows, he saw Ethan staring into the distance, the flicker of doubt creeping back. Something was brewing beneath the surface, and as the laughter of children filled the air, Alex prayed they were all ready to confront whatever was lurking just out of sight. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as the practice session for the mini-competition kicked off. Kids shouted encouragement, their faces lit by the soft glow of lanterns hanging from trees. Ethan stood at the center, a skateboard beneath his feet, feeling both nervous and exhilarated. Everyone's eyes were on him, eagerly waiting to witness his first trick. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. With the weight of the kids' hopes on his shoulders, the pressure was real. But there was something different this time, a support system that felt genuine. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about showing these kids that uncertainty was part of the journey, and maybe, just maybe, they could face their fears together. Mia and Oliver cheered from the sidelines. "You can do it, Ethan." Ethan pushed off, his heart racing. In that moment, all doubts faded into the dark corners of his mind as he focused on the rhythm of the board. He glided smoothly along the ground, the cool night air brushing against his face. The joy surrounding him ignited a fire he thought he had long extinguished. Just as he prepared for a trick he practiced countless times, a wave of doubt crashed over him. His stomach twisted. What if he fell? What if he let them down? But then, he looked at Mia's vibrant smile, her eyes wide with hope, and Oliver bouncing on his toes, a bundle of enthusiasm. They weren't just watching. They believed in him. With renewed determination, Ethan propelled himself into the air, attempting a trick he'd been hesitant to try before. Time seemed to slow. He felt the board lift beneath him, the thrill of the moment washing over him like cool water. And then he landed. Not perfectly, but enough to keep his balance. Cheers erupted from the group as he skated to a stop. Laughter and applause wrapped around him like a comforting blanket, dispelling the last remnants of doubt lingering in his mind. He'd done it. "See? You did great," Mia exclaimed, bouncing up to him. "I told you. More practice, and you'll be amazing." Ethan managed a beaming smile, the thrill of the moment electrifying his spirit. "Thanks, guys. Let us keep going." As the night progressed, Ethan took turns with the kids trying tricks, falling, and laughing. Even some skaters from the park joined in, showing off their skills and bolstering everyone's spirits. Felt like a community, something he hadn't truly experienced in years. It was liberating to be surrounded by such energy and goodwill. Yet, even amid the laughter, shadows flitted across Ethan's face when he caught himself thinking about the past. Memories he tried to forget crept back in the loss, the mistakes, that heavy weight that had chained him for so long. He had pushed them aside tonight, but as his heart raced from the sheer joy, the anxious thoughts loomed large, threatening to eclipse everything. Meanwhile, Alex watched from the sidelines, his concern deepening. He saw moments where Ethan's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. Each time the laughter would fade, Alex could sense the weight of those shadows swirling around Ethan. The laughter was a balm, but it wouldn't erase pain locked inside as the competition began. Ethan took a deep breath, standing in front of the crowd, confidence bubbling up. He had never regretted sharing this joy with the kids, but as Alex could see, the stakes felt higher now. "Okay, everyone, let us see what we can do." Ethan's voice rang out, filled with excitement, perhaps a hint of trembling vulnerability. But Alex couldn't shake the feeling that as joy soared, something unforeseen was lurking beneath the surface, ready to surface, just waiting for the opportunity. With the crowd going wild, Ethan pushed off again, excitement in every leap. But just when it seemed like the night would continue on a high note, a familiar face slipped into view, a face from Ethan's past, filled with unanswered questions and unresolved heartaches. What was he doing here? And how would Ethan handle the confrontation? The air crackled with anticipation under the moon's glow as Ethan prepared for the mini competition. He stood tall, surrounded by children bursting with enthusiasm, cheers echoing in a rhythm that made his heart race. Thrumming excitement mixed with lingering tension hung on the cusp of revelation. As Ethan glided onto the makeshift track, he pushed all doubts aside, focusing on the radiant faces in front of him: Mia, Oliver, and the rest. This wasn't just about skateboarding. It was about allowing oneself to feel hope again. But just as he was about to perform his most daring trick, the crowd hushed. A figure stepped from the shadows, a man from Ethan's past, tall and familiar, with a heaviness that forced Ethan's heart to sink. Memories flooded back, uninvited, draping over him like a cold shroud. It was Jake, an old friend. Or was he? They had once shared laughter and dreams, but life had cruelly pulled them apart. Time had changed him, leaving behind traces of hurt and regret, a wall of unspoken words between them. "Ethan?" Jake called, weaving through the crowd, an uncertain smile plastered on his face. "I didn't think I'd see you here. We need to talk." Ethan's pulse quickened. This was not the moment he wanted to confront the past, especially not here, surrounded by the joy of children. The magical evening they had crafted was now teetering on a knife's edge. "I am busy. The kids are counting on me," Ethan replied, his voice steady but trembling with unvoiced fears. He stole a glance towards Mia and Oliver, their faces etched with confusion, while the other kids started murmuring amongst themselves. Jake took a step closer. "I know you're putting on a brave front, but I heard what you're doing for these kids. That's amazing. But don't forget you're more than just a skateboarder now. You can't bury your past." The tension thickened, wrapping around Ethan like a vice. The laughter of the kids felt too distant now, like the echoes of a fading melody. "Maybe you're right," Ethan countered, frustration spilling from him like a raw wound. "But it's not as simple as that. I'm trying to be a part of something again." "Then let us talk about it," Jake urged, his tone softening, but the shadows still loomed. The crowd started to turn, eyes flitting between Ethan and Jake, the buzz of excitement stifled by uncertainty. Would this moment of confrontation destroy everything they had built? "Ethan?" Mia's small voice broke through the tension. She stepped forward, concern lacing her features. "You okay?" And in that moment, something shifted in Ethan. Here were these kids, radiating hope, believing in him just as he had begun to embrace his own potential. He couldn't let Jake's presence pull him back into shadows he had fought hard to escape. "I am okay," he replied, voice firm. "But we have to get back to what matters." He looked at Mia, her smile brightening his path. "Let us show them how it's done." Ethan turned his focus back to the track. "You want to talk? Then let us talk later," he said to Jake determinedly. "Right now it's about these kids." With that, Ethan pushed off the ground. The board glided smoothly beneath him, the wind whipping through his hair, washing away remnants of doubt. With an explosion of confidence, he launched into his trick, leaping into the air, shaping his body, feeling the jubilant energy surge through him. Time slowed, his mind cleared, and as he landed, the crowd erupted in cheers. The sound washed over him, igniting a warmth that dispelled the cold shadows lurking in his past as he skated back towards the kids. Wide grins beamed up at him, lifting his spirits. The joy of the moment enveloped him, and the unspoken connection he had forged with the neighborhood grew brighter. This was home, and he wouldn't let anything or anyone, even his own fears, pull him away from it again. "See? I told you he was cool," Oliver shouted, bursting with pure joy. Ethan grinned, feeling the elation blossom inside him. "Thanks. But now it's your turn," he called back, ready to watch the kids shine just as brightly. Underneath the laughter and light, he felt the simmering weight of his past. But maybe, just maybe, healing came not by erasing memories, but by embracing the love and community surrounding him. This was his second chance, a chance to not just skate, but to soar. As the night went on, whispers of belonging colored the air. Ethan turned his focus back to Jake, who lingered on the sidelines, a mixture of frustration and admiration evident on his face. There would be time for reckoning, but tonight was about hope. A bond forged in laughter and joy. Tonight, they were all together, and for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt solid ground beneath him, a community coming alive, fueled by kindness and mutual upliftment. And though uncertainty still lingered like an echo in the corners of reality, for now, they would ride the waves of joy together. As the event wrapped up with celebrations and long-lasting friendships cemented, Alex stood beside Ethan, clapping him on the back. "You did it, man. You didn't just skate, you inspired." Ethan nodded, breathless and grateful. In Alex's eyes was a reflection of something profound, understanding transcending wealth, bridging backgrounds. Seizing the moment, Alex announced to the crowd, "Let us make this a regular thing. We're not just building a mini competition, but a community event where no one is left behind. Together we can create something that lasts." The crowd erupted in support, cheer after cheer ringing through the air. Mia beamed, and Oliver jumped up and down, the energy of a shared dream igniting future possibilities. One thing was clear. They were more than just neighbors now. They were family. The shadows that once lurked were still there, but together, they would face them. One lesson hovered in the air sometimes. Love and respect can create a safety net strong enough to catch everybody. And as night drew the curtains around them, the whole community felt a little more united, a little more whole, ready to embrace whatever awaited them. Join this beautiful journey. Click subscribe now to not miss new exclusive stories like this one. Leave a like to help the algorithm spread the love. Comment your thoughts below. How did this story touch your heart? And don't wait. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. You need to support this channel.